Good morning. Happy Friday. And the sun's shining and it's scorchy out there. Bear with me, I'm just refreshing my computer. It's going to do it, hopefully. Yay. Yay. Okay, I don't know if I've put my volume up, bear with me. Alright, so I hope that you can see and hear me okay. Like I say, happy Friday. It's a beautiful day out there today. It's very warm. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. I'm not sure my little green light's coming on. I saw Philippa. Morning everybody. I just saw Philippa there. Alright, okay, someone's giving me some thumbs up. That's lovely. Excellent. Okay, well, after a lovely calendar page live, which I'm sure lots of you are watching have taken part in that. If you haven't, it's something that I am going to be doing again this year, or for next year. I'm just sorting it all out at the moment, but this is, I'll show you very briefly. Each month we decorate the following month's page. So this was the page that we did for our August calendar, and from that it was like, it would just make such a beautiful card as well. So I then went on and had to make a card. So I'm going to do a card again this morning, but I'm going to change my colours because why not? I've done that one now. I need to do a different colour. So I'm going to flip the camera and I'll show you the colours that I've picked, or I think I've picked anyway. Bear with me. Let me flip the camera. Just sort out your view. Oh, I need to move my computer. I did have a fan on earlier, but it's so noisy that you won't be able to hear me talking. Right, let's see if I can get this in place. Okay, so this is the card. This is only going to be a quick live. It's not going to take very long. So yeah, but I just think it's lovely. So I'm sorry, I'm reading all... Oh, I'm sorry, Bev. It's like going to be 30 degrees today. We haven't had weather like this for ages. It's so warm. Oh, I do feel for you over there. My brother's coming over. He hasn't been over now for, probably 5-6 years. And he's coming over, not next week, the following week. So I'm so looking forward to that. And I'm sure he will be if it's freezing cold out there. So, yes. Anyway, so good evening to everyone in Australia and good morning to everybody in the UK. It is fabulous to see everybody. I'm hoping that the Philippa, could you give me some thumbs up just to make sure everything's okay? Because Jack said that it's stalled. I hope, all right, okay, thank you, love. Okay, so this is the card. And so I have, let me move my make art board. I have a piece of 18 by 24. So this is making it into a card that fits a 5 by 7 envelope. So, morning everybody, lovely to have you. Yeah, Debs, that's fine though. That's what's so lovely about the lives, that you can just watch them when you need to. You can catch up whenever you want. So perfect. Okay, so because this is 18 by 24, so it's 18 by 24, so I need to score at 12 to make my card. Oops, get rid of that. And then I always use my scoreboard just to make sure that everything's nice and straight before I flatten my card down. Okay, so that's the scoreboard part done. So now I'm going to bring in my make art board. I do love working on this. Absolutely fabulous. The fact that the magnets hold everything in place. Yeah, it just makes everything so much easier. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do the butterfly first of all, and then I can add my little bit of ink blending in the back, sorry, stenciling in the background. Now I did it very softly on the card, but I will do it a little bit darker today just so that it's easier for you to see and everything. But do bear that in mind, that I am going a little bit heavier. So first up, I need my butterfly stencil. And I love this because I can use my magnets to hold the card and the stencil in place. Remember, you might need to put a bit of spare card down here. Let's just grab a piece. But there you go, so I know that that's the spare bit of card. So if I go over, it's just going to go onto the card and not on my card, because the whole point of this is that it's really lovely and clean. It's just got that nice stenciled butterfly on it. Did your ball come with magnets? Yes, it did, Jack. It comes with 4 of the magnets, and it comes with a magnetic ruler as well, which is really useful because on here it has if you put it on your board, it has the center point, so it's really good for making sure things are in the center of your card. Obviously you have to put it in the center of your card. 9, yeah, so there's my center of my card. So it's really good for things like that, lining things up. It's fabulous. Absolutely love this. So I'm going to go with Wilted Violet. Let me just move the board over slightly, then I can rest. I do like to rest these against the edge of the board. It stops them from moving. So I'm going to have Salty Ocean and Wilted Violet. And I think I'm going to go, I like to go with the darkest colour at the bottom. So I think I'm going to go with Wilted Violet at the bottom. So I'm loading my brush up. Now, I don't want too much, I don't want it to be too dark. So I'm just taking some off on the green. I don't think it'll affect the colour. And I'm just going to come in. And I just want to do the top half of my butterfly. Do need to use the blending tool on its side a little bit just to get into the nooks and crannies for the antennae, because I want to make sure that that comes out really nicely. Okay, so then I'm going to take a bit of my Wilted Violet. I use a scrap piece of card. Actually, there you go, that'll do. So I'm just going to take the bulk of the ink off, just because I want it to be nice and soft for my butterfly. So I want the colour, I want to be able to see the shape. I'll take this away so you can see it. I want to be able to see the shape of my butterfly. Good job I put that on there, look. I would have had that on my card. Yeah, I want to be able to see the shape before I start adding my flowers. So that I got, with this one I had Very Pale Salvage Patina and Uncharted Mariner. So just did that softly. But I'm doing it a little bit darker so that you can see on the camera and everything. Okay, so line this back up, and you need to make sure you line it up perfectly. Okay, pop those back down, hold everything in place. And then I'm going to bring in my beautiful bloom stencil. Now I love this daisy. Out of all the flowers, this is my favourite, but you could use any of the flowers. You could just even use the little centres for the flowers. So I'm placing this down, and I do like to make sure that I get the centre of the flower on each of the wings so that you can really tell that it is a flower that I'm using. Otherwise, if you don't have enough of it showing, it's a bit hard to tell sometimes. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to have purple as my colour for my flowers. Now I don't mind about this being a bit darker now, because this is where going to put all the detail on and everything, and I just thought gold pen with purple will just look lovely. And if I go nice and dark with the colour, white pen will show up really nicely as well. Now I've obviously left the butterfly stencil down as well, so this acts as a mask for my card. So I'm only getting my flower on the butterfly area. So if I lift this up, you can see it's not going outside of the butterfly. Okay, so then I'm going to have one down the bottom here, and I just want to make sure that I'm not going to touch the other flower, but I want to make sure that I get that center, because I do think that that helps to identify that it's a flower that we're using. So again, I'm going to come in with my purple. Going to go a little bit heavier so that I get that really nice strong colour showing. And everything that I'm using should still be available at the stockist. So if you head over to Sweet Honey Designs website, you'll find them there. And if not, lots of the stockists are listed at the top of the page just for different collections and things as well. Yes, it is very regal, purple and gold, isn't it? Okay, so now I just need to add little elements of petals just to fill the rest of the wings up, and just so that it gives you a little bit more for decoration as well. So again, just coming in with my purple. Make sure you can use the tool on its side a little bit so that you're really getting into those nooks and crannies as well. Always make sure that you keep some magnets to hold the stencil in place. So then I just need a little bit down the bottom there. And I think we'll be ready to go. So probably got enough ink. There we go. Right. So a little tip that I don't know if you can actually see that, I'll put it up the top. I quite often pick the wrong brush up and then start stenciling with the wrong brush. And this was a little tip. I can't remember who it was now. One of the customers who was watching said, why don't you put the lids out and put the brushes in the lids? And it's really helped me not to make that mistake. Oh, Lynn, no problem. That's the whole point of having the lives and, you know, dipping in and out. It's no problem. Have a lovely day. It's beautiful. Okay, so we can take our stencils away. And one thing that you do need to do is make sure that you clean them. So I found that if I put a bit of water on my cloth and then take my cloth to the stencil, it doesn't make them too wet, because that's the other thing, if they get too wet. And then you do need to be careful when you're cleaning the butterfly, like you want to avoid going the way that the delicate bits are, if that makes sense. So come down for the antennae and go up for the bottom, and then you won't catch it too much. So they're all clean and ready to go again. So that's just looking, that's looking lovely, just as it is. How nice is that? But then when you start adding the pen detail, it's just fabulous. So first off, I'm going to use a little bit of stenciling. So I don't want to stencil, and I think I'm going to keep it. No, I'll bring the blue back in. So I'm not going to add any more ink because I want it to be quite pale. If I need to add some, I can. Don't want to particularly go over the butterfly, but I want 3 areas of it. So I'm going to have some up at the top there, coming down to the butterfly. So I've got an area there. Then I want one that's between, I'm lining the bottom of the stencil up here. So I want a little bit that's at the base of the butterfly. And it's nice, I'm going to come back in actually. It is nice to have a bit that's just hanging off. So like, have like longer pieces. And then I want another piece up by the top of the wing so that I can have a little bit of stenciling over where the sentiment is going to go. So like I say, I have done it a little bit darker so that you can see where I'm going on the camera. If I bring that up so that you can see. So we've just got 3 areas, and it's really nice if you do 3 areas. It's pleasing on the eye. It forms like a triangle, which is how your eye looks at things apparently. So I think I'm done. I'm going to do the sentiment. So let's get the, just put my lids on for the minute as it's so warm. Let's get rid of the make-up board, so I don't need that anymore. Okay, so want to add a sentiment to it, and I need to do that in my stamping press. I just like, I'm not very good if I go to do it just stamping. Okay, I'm going to clean my stencil as well. Almost forgot. So a little bit of water on my cloth, and then it doesn't make the stencil quite as wet. because they can get quite wet when you do them. Okay, and I thought this time I'm going to use Mary's Wishing You a Beautiful Day from her Hearts and Florals stamp set. I love this sentiment. I love her handwriting. And I just think that this is such a beautiful sentiment to add to a card. So I'm going to pop it down. Now, on my other sentiment, I did it in black, and which is fine because I've got black pen work, so it goes in perfectly. But I'm actually going to give it a go in the Wilted Violet, I think. So I'm going to turn it round, and I'm going to ink my stamp up. So I'm going to give it a little twist as I'm inking it, so that I make sure I get pigment and dye based. And I will probably need to do this twice, just fairy fingers for pushing down, not too hard, but I'm going to do it twice. It's come out beautifully. It's so fine, even though it's the Distressed Oxide. Now, with Distressed inks, I wouldn't ever stamp a sentiment in it, but because this has got the pigment as well as dye in the ink pad, it does stamp out absolutely beautifully. So how lovely does that look? And it's really lovely that it's in the purple as well. So I'm really pleased with that. So I can pop that to one side. I will just actually very quickly clean my stamp. So a little bit of water, and again my cloth, just to wipe that down. And then that can go back in my folder, ready for next time. Okay, so now the fun bit, the relaxing bit. So I have a selection of pens. I've got a white Jelly Roll pen. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it or not, but I may do. I've got a hybrid gel pen, which is gold. I've got a Micron, that says 3, but yes it is, a 3-point, and that's a black fine line pen. And then I've got a Pilot G-Tech C4. If you want really fine black pens, this is absolutely fabulous to work with. Really, really lovely and fine. So bear with me. Hi Jeanette, lovely to have your company. And it doesn't matter, nobody's late. Next time I'm going to be headmistress and take a register. And you'll have to stay behind and do homework. Okay, so I'm going to start having the fun by adding these details. Now, first of all, I'm going to start off by decorating the petal, or actually around the edge of the butterfly to start with. And then I'll add my detail to the petals. Now, I will bring back in the one that I did on my calendar page so that you can see it, because there are different details that I've done. So I used the white gel pen. I've used white gel pen and gold and black. I've done double lines, I've done dots. So I've really varied it up. So just bear in mind that you can do all of that as well. So I'm going to start off with my Micron 3. I don't actually know what point size because 4 is bigger than 3, but this is just such a lovely, well, I'll show you. Let me show you on a piece of card. Let me find a piece of card that hasn't got anything on it. Okay, how crazy is that? Right, I've got a scrap of card. It just always makes me laugh because how much card have I got? Okay, so that is the 3-point, and then this is the G-Tech C4, and it's just so lovely and fine. It is very different. So I'm going to do the dots around the butterfly with the thicker line, and then I'm going to do all my detail with the finer pen. Now, one thing, I spilled some water on there. Oh, never mind, we'll cover it up. One thing to remember is that Distressed Oxide stays wet for a little while. So, and with the heat, I'm going to put a piece of card down so that I don't lean in it and then print it off somewhere else. And I don't know where that's come from. Okay, so doing little dots, just literally, and this is just so therapeutic. Just a lovely thing to do. I love doodling. But this, yeah, I mean, everyone can just touch the pen down around the edge. Now, if you're not confident and you like this scares you, then the thing to do is to bring your stencil back in, wherever I've hidden it. So you can bring your stencil back in and you can lay this down, and then you can do your lines, you can do your dots, things like that. So there are ways of making it easier for yourself if you don't like actually going for it freestyle or freehand, whatever you want to call it. Good idea to keep your finger quite close to it, because that will stop the card bouncing up and down and getting the dots in places you maybe don't want them. And you can obviously take your time, much more so than maybe I will at the moment. But just take your time, and you know, it's all about enjoying the process, having the fun of creating something. And I think if you did these different colorways, so you could, if you know somebody's favorite colors, you could do them in favorite colors for a birthday. But they'd make lovely thank you cards. They would make lovely, it would make a nice sympathy card if it was done in the right colors. Right, I'm going to turn it round. Got everything sticking to me, just so that I can get right in. Now I tend just to put the dots up the antennae, and that's just really so it's drawing your eye to it. And then we can do the dots. You do want to keep the card from bouncing. That will be so much better. Don't be afraid to keep stopping and starting and moving the card around so it's in a better position for you. On the other butterflies I've done double lines as well, so you could do double lines around the edge, and then you could make it let me move these up, sorry, I've just realised I'm a bit low down. In fact, I could, let me see if I can bring the camera down a little bit closer. How's that? That might be better. And just as I did that, my computer went off. It's like, no. Okay, and I'm sorry, I'm not really looking at the comments now. I know that if there's any questions, Philippa is always very good at answering stuff. But I'll get, I don't know if I'll actually have a cup of tea. I might have a cold drink. And I will read through everybody's comments and everything. So if there's anything there that I need to answer, I will do. And then if you're looking for this at a later date, I will later today upload this onto YouTube. So if you're ever looking for anything and you can't find videos that you know we've done, they'll always be on YouTube. So that just shows you all those little dots, and it just gives it some definition to the butterfly as well, which is really lovely. You could do, in fact I will, just so it's different again. So I'm going to do some dots to create the body. So just following the imaginary line. There we go. So now we've got a body. So now it really looks like a butterfly. Okay, so I'm going to switch pens, and I'm going to go for the Pilot G-Tech 4, C4. And I'm now going to start drawing the lines in for the flowers, the petals. Now, obviously, the minute you start doing the one that's the main one that you're going to look at, so start off with the bottom, the ones that you've just got bits and pieces, so that you can practice and get familiar before you go to the ones that are really going to show. So I do all the little ones first. And don't worry if it goes wobbly, that's really what you want. We're not trying to be perfect now. We're trying to add handmade little touches, little doodles, and I'm quite happy if I go a bit wobbly. So hold my card down and then trace around the petal. If you misshape the petal at all, just bring the pen in and out and you'll add that lovely bit of wobbly definition. But you can create, if you don't like the petal shape that you've got from your pen work, you can bring the petal shape back. If that, I do know what I mean. So if you've not done very well, the pens, you can put that definition back in with the pen. Okay, let's sort this one out. That I don't know if it's got wet, but I don't know how. Okay, so like I've got a bit of a funny shape here, so I'm going to go outside there and come round. And so now I've got better petal shape again. So we just keep going round systematically now that we've done the little ones until everything has got some pen work in it. You don't have to do the other flower the same. You could do dots on the other one if you wanted to. I need to bring my lines around on that one. There we go. So it's entirely up to you whether you want to do a different pattern. It's a lovely way just to practice a bit of doodling, but making a lovely card at the same time. A G&T. It's a bit early for, oh, I see, instead of a cup of tea. It's a bit early for a G&T, even for me. Actually, if I'm totally honest, I don't drink an awful lot of gin and tonic anymore. I do like the odd one now and again. And maybe now the weather's a bit nicer. But I certainly haven't been drinking my gin like I used to. In fact, I've got so many bottles, I probably won't live long enough. Sorry, that's a bit morbid, isn't it? I certainly won't live long enough to use all my craft stuff, will I? Okay, so one last petal, and then we can start adding. Right, okay, so I'm going to show you this. Right, so I've gone, where is it there? A little bit outside of my stenciling. That doesn't bother me in the slightest, because it does mean I can just bring it back and come inside this time. And I've got my petal shape back. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. And I'm going to add, let's cover that up again because I'm very conscious that I'm going to smudge it. So I'm going to add some stamens to my petals. So I'm going to come up and put a little dot on the end. And then I'm going to come make a shorter one. Obviously these ones, I'm just going to do the lines because you wouldn't be able to see the dot. That one will make it so you can. You can alter them, so you could have this one can be coming in and you could have another one. So you can vary how they look. We could have one just here. So you don't have to have the long ones all on the same side. That's what I'm trying to say. We'll have a short one there, but that one will be disappearing. But I can highly recommend these pens. I got mine from Amazon, but I'm sure that if you've got a good art supply store, they would probably have them. I haven't seen them anywhere else particularly. But if anybody's interested, I can always put a link on, because it is a lovely, even just to have a really nice fine line pen, it's a lovely one to have, and it works fine you can actually use them. I can't remember the lady's name. Somebody I watch got me into them, but she uses them with her watercolours and a wet brush, and it works beautifully. So okay, so next up, I dare say you're all talking about gin and tonics by the looks of it. Enjoy your catch up, Lynn. Right, okay, so next up, I'm going to add, always with a gold pen, if you have a scrap of card, just check your gold pen and the white pen as well before you go to it. So I'm going to add little dots, details around the little black circles. And if I bring that up, you can see where I've added the gold dots. So again, just cover this up, just because I'm very aware that it's so warm and I don't want to smudge my sentiment. You could do the sentiment last, so you could decorate everything and then add your sentiment. If you do smudge it, you could always add a sentiment afterwards on a panel of card and just put it over the top of your smudged one. So don't think if you do smudge something that it's finished. Oh, I love this with the gold with the purple, does look really lovely. I should be holding my card because this is when you do want the dots to come out nicely and not where the card's bouncing up and down. Okay, so we've added gold dots all the way around our little stamens in our daisies, and then I'm going to add gold circles, and I go around the edge first, and I'm not worried if they're not perfect circles, and then I'm going to come inside. Doesn't matter if they're overlapping and touching, but it just gives you a nice bobbly centre to your flower. I'll bring it up and show you. Okay, so let's do this one. So just round the edge to start with, and then come in. Doesn't matter if it's overlapping. Okay, quite happy with that. I really would like to get some white on here. Let's do some little white dots. So always test out your white pen before you come onto your work. So maybe we'll just have 3 little dots or some random dots. Oh yeah, that's working all right. And with a white pen, I find that if you do a little, actually do a dot rather than just touching your pen down, sometimes it'll work, sometimes it doesn't. So sometimes it's better if you do an actual little circle movement, so you're getting that detail down. Oh, I like this with the white on here as well, because the purple was a much darker colour than when I did the salvage patina. That wouldn't show very well, but that is adding some lovely detail to the daisy. So you can just get carried away. It's lovely. Okay, so let's bring this in this side and add a few little dots. Again with my white pen. But do make that little circular motion so that you are getting much more of the white pen is actually being put down on your card. What happens is that the little round ball bearing in the end has to be pushed up inside to allow the ink to flow down past the ball bearing and onto your work. So that's what's happening. That's why you need to do like that little circular motion rather than just touching down on your card. Oh, I'm really happy with that. I like that. And then all I did to finish off was, with my gold pen, just added randomly 3 little dots. And this you can just touch down. The gold flows a lot, the ink is a lot thinner. So we can do little ones, and then we can make circles so that they are slightly more prominent. Let's turn this round, have one in there. Again, be careful that you're not touching any ink, and the gold ink takes a while to dry. So do bear that in mind. Once you've done this, put this to one side. Let's have a couple up here. And we'll have one down here. And we'll actually have one up there, which is why I'm moving it around. I'm trying to keep my hand the other side of where my butterfly is, so that I'm never resting on my butterfly. There. You just keep going until you're happy with how it looks. And look, that was good that I put that piece of card there. Got purple ink, and there's bits of ink all over here. So it really was well worth covering it up. Right, let me... Oh, how nice does that look? So, 2 very similar cards. Just add in those details, a little bit different, but virtually the same. Right, bear with me a minute. Let me just have a quick read, because I saw something. Right, what pens are these, please? Okay, so the gold pen is a hybrid gel pen. It's a Pentel one, as is the white one. Oh no, that's a Sakura, sorry. So this is a Pentel. Oh, this was a Pentel, wasn't it? No, that was a Pilot. Okay, a Pentel gold pen, a Sakura Jelly Roll white pen, the Pilot... Oh, I'm not even holding them in the right place. Right, let's start again. I didn't look at the camera, sorry. Okay. A Pentel Hybrid Gel Grip gold pen, a Sakura Jelly Roll white pen, the Pilot G-Tech C4, which is the really fine one, and then the other one that I had was a Pigma Micron 3. But as long as it's a permanent pen, so it's got archival ink in it, so it won't fade and it's waterproof. So they're the pens that I used. Was there another question? Yes, lots of dots. I do love doing dots, you're right. And it is the Aborigine draw, yeah, beautiful, beautiful paintings. It is amazing how just those little 3 dots really do finish off. They fill in the gaps. I use it an awful lot on cards. If I make something and I think, oh, it's a little bit, just needs something else, and you don't really want to overload it, then yeah, I just love adding those 3 little dots. Oh, okay. Thank you for the Amazon sells 10. Thank you for that, Philippa. Brilliant. Okay, right, let me flip the camera. I did say it would only be a short live. Oh, I did. I managed to talk for 40 minutes. That's not too bad. Okay, I just wanted to say thank you for joining me. I'd love to see what you make. You can do this with any shape. It doesn't have to be a butterfly. Obviously, a butterfly is really nice because it's a lovely shape. You could do it with a dragonfly. You could do it with squares, with circles, all sorts. Actually, circles. The hexagons, you could cut your own die, your own stencil into a piece of card using the hexagon dies, and then stencil through it, and then you could stamp the bee on it. Wouldn't that be lovely? Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you have a lovely weekend. Stay cool today because it is really, really warm here. And wrap up if you're in Australia. Right, I'm off to read all the comments. Have a lovely weekend. Can't wait to see if you give this a go. And if you want to find the video again, don't forget they will be over on the YouTube channel. So if you just go to YouTube and search Julie Hickey Designs, and then if you subscribe, you'll get a notification when each new video goes up. So anyway, thank you for joining me. I hope you give this a go and have a lovely weekend. Take care. Bye.